Okay, you're on.
Okay, I'm here to give my talk on starting. Good job. Yeah, and as most of you know, the start is the most important part of the race because after the start, you can be in a better position than other people, and that's the first part of the race that you can do that. So, first starts with the pre-start checklist. You should always check the forecast because you can learn valuable information on maybe a persistent left shift or the wind will decrease all day, so you might want to know, oh, I'm going to have to set my boat up for different wind speeds and directions. So knowing the forecast is always a good thing. Also, like Lawrence said, if you can, you should know the background information on certain race courses. Like this one guy at my yacht club said at MIT, you should always bang the left shore to the donut factory because you can smell the donuts on the shore or something. So you should know background information like that.
We're gonna make a Google Doc about that actually.
Yeah.
Google Doc idea.
And also watch the other fleet. You should always be watching the other fleet when you're on the shore because you can pick up valuable information such as what side is better, what side has more pressure. This one kid who's winning the pin every race is winning the regatta. Just know information like that. And also, when your teammates come in to rotate, you should talk to them. I always talk to Matt or Will or Rachel, whoever else is sailing, and you ask them about certain things like what side is working, what side isn't working, just like the watching their fleet. So while Scott's hitting on grills, everyone else should be watching the racing. So then once you get out there, you should, like, before the start, you should look for pressure. Just as Matt said, here's the pen, here's the boat.
They're dancing.
As soon as you get out on the water, you should look for the different pressure sides. Like, basically, once you're watching the other fleet and you're talking to the other skipper, you should already know what's happening. But still, once you get out there, you should be looking for what side is more pressure. And so, for example, so in this case, the left side is more pressure. So you may want to think about going left. And then, yeah, so like he said, the darker, more ripply water is has more pressure than this side. It's very glassy. There's no wind over there. Okay, then you want to find the favored tack, and to do this, you just go to the middle of the line and just left head to wind. And say the wind's coming from right here. So your boat would point this way. So the port tack is the favorite tack in this case because on port tack you'd be going closer to the markup wind. So whatever tack brings you closer to the mark is the favorite tack. So and then another way you can find out what's the favorite tack is you round both ends. So in this case, this is upwind on port, and then starboard tack would be like this. So as you can tell, starboard tack you can't point as high, so port tack is the favored mark because there's less distance to be traveled on port tack.
Do you guys understand that? Any question of that? 'Cause it's hard to see on the water sometimes.
Yeah, so if port tack is really favored, your course would be like this. And as you can tell, your time on port tack is much longer than on starboard tack, and the wind is on the left side like this. Okay, so then and then the next step is get a line sight. And to get a line sight, you go to the right side of the boat, right here, and you line up the race committee flag with the pin and another landmark over here. It could be like a flagpole or a house or a car or something. So you line up the pin, the flag on the race committee boat, and the landmark over there.
If you're a crew, that's really important. So like if you're on the line at the start, you can tell your skipper that you're over or you're not.
Yeah. Okay, so then you put all this together and decide what side to start on. And as I kind of hinted before, the wind is more to the left. There are more puffs on the left side, so you're going to want to start on the left side of the line. So so if the left side is favored, you're going to want to start in this area. And then if the right's favored, you start on this side. And then if you really don't know, you can start in the middle, because the middle is a very safe place to start, because you won't ever be really far behind, but you won't be really far ahead, depending on the first shift. But, so that's pre-start. Yeah.
The thing that always kills me when I start on the wrong side, you know how if everyone starts on starter tack and pin's way favored.
Yeah.
Show how if the pin boat tacks on the
Oh, yeah.
board.
Yeah, so if you start on the wrong side of the line, if the wind's coming from the left, the people on port tack off the line will be like this. Sorry.
And then I started at the boat for this.
Yeah.
Because I like the boat side.
So then, yes, then like 5 seconds later, there's a big left shift over here. Then these guys would tack over onto port and just cross you. You're right here.
Instantly.
And look when they
All
tag.
that way.
Yes, and they all pass you.
And so you're
Yeah.
crying.
So that's why it's always important to start at the trek side of the line. Okay.
So if you really want to know what side's favored, picture a boat tacking on the pin when you're starting on the boat. If they're going to cross way ahead of you right away, then you know that the pin side's favored.
Another thing I can interject too, just while I was writing on the board, is yes, it's super important to tell where the wind is at the start, but recognize that it can completely change during the race. So like when you're about to be at the windward mark, like you should be looking downwind, like where's the wind downwind, so you can go to that area of the course downwind. So just always eyes out of the boat, skipper and the crew to find it, especially the crew.
Okay, usually in college racing and dinghy racing, people like to luff on the line. It's different in keelball racing and other fleets, but usually they like to luff on the line at about 30 seconds before the start. It changes. I mean, it could be at 45 seconds everyone goes to luff on the line, or at around 20 seconds maybe, but usually at about 30 seconds people start to luff on the line. And your goal when you're luffing on the line is to have a lured hole. The whole point is to have a lured hole on the starting line, because here's the starting line, here's the one. If you're luffing on the line and you have a nice big lured hole to start in, everyone else who's bunched up like this won't be able to head down on a reach before the start and accelerate, and then head upwind. Because when you're luffing on the line, you're obviously speed down. So to gain speed before the start, you want to head down on a reach and then go upwind before. Because if you just start going like this, it's really slow. But if you can reach over and then head up, it's a lot faster. So then, like I said before, at 30 seconds, you're going to start to luff on the line. So then one tip to maintain a good spot on the line is hold the windward boats up. And so here's like a zoomed in starting line. So then, if you're this boat right here, who has rights? You or this guy right here? Who has rights over here? You.
You.
Yes, because you're the leeward boat. He's windward. So one tip is you always want to keep him to windward because he has no rights over you. He can't come down on you. He can't interfere with you. And while you're doing that, you still have a giant hole over here to come down to start and accelerate. So that's one tip to keep the windward boats up. And then obviously it's pretty difficult to just luff on the line for 30 seconds. So what you need is you need good boat handling. Okay, so when you come to enter your hole, obviously you have to stop somehow. So one way to do this is when you're coming in with speed, you start sculling really fast. Because when you're moving and you start sculling, the rudder acts as a brake in the water, and that can help you slow down really fast. And also, you can backwind your mainsail. So backwinding your mainsail and sculling help you slow down. And obviously, you also left both your sails out. So those are two ways to enter your hole. And then once you're in your hole, obviously you don't want to start sliding down into your hole or go too far or go backwards. So you need to have very good boat handling. And the ways to do this are your jib is always eased out. You never trim your jib in ever. You're lucky on the line. Sometimes crews trim in too early and you just slide down and you lose your hole. So never trim in the jib until the skipper tells you to. And then also you have to maintain just a slight bit of speed because if you stall out, the waves will push you back, or if a puff comes, you'll just slide down the line. So always maintain a little bit of speed. I like to say like 5% blade speed. Just have a little bit of flow with your rudder and.
To get off my cord. Get off my cord.
Yeah, so you always want to just be moving slightly forward, just barely forward.